There's Boba Fett holding his blaster with his helmet on. Looks pretty darn cool.
Sean Solo Geeks.
Hey, what's going on? It's Sean Solo 8, and I'm back with another Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure review. From Star Wars The Mandalorian, we have Boba Fett from Morak. As you can see on card, he looks absolutely epic. Let me pull him up a little bit closer. And you can see it is straight out of The Mandalorian, where he finally repaints his entire armor, and it looks absolutely beautiful. They would definitely charge us deluxe on this figure, wouldn't they? If it was the Black Series, because look, he comes with 2 weapons, helmet, soft goods, and a jetpack back in there, which is absolutely sweet. But yeah, you got Boba Fett Morak. I feel like I've already reviewed this guy because if you see here, we've got the deluxe Boba Fett, which I absolutely love this figure. It is fantastic, but there's a lot of just stuff going on that is different, like the legs, and we'll take a closer look at that a little bit later in this video. On the back, he is VC 252. You can see the wave that he comes in. I do have almost all of those figures already up on the channel, so feel free to check those out after you've checked this one out. But without further ado, let's open up Morak from The Mandalorian, and let's take a closer look. Boom! Boba Fett Morak is out of the package, and you know what? It is so cool when you can just take a figure out of the package and just tilt his head a little bit, and it just screams absolutely epic. 3.75 is absolutely killing it in this line. I absolutely love it. Even though, as I said before, I pretty much reviewed this figure already, except from the bottom half is completely different. So without further ado, let's put this guy in some poses, and let's take a closer look. And here's Morak Boba Fett with just his blaster in a gunslinging pose. The only downfalls I see on this figure so far is just 2 things right away, which is the cloth goods, how it's absolutely shredding like crazy, and also the gap in his neck that you see right there. But other than that, man, this guy is beautiful. Let's put him in a few more poses. And here's Boba just holding his rifle, and believe it or not, I really wanted to get him to tweak it a little bit more, but for some weird reason, he has a up and down hinge on the left arm from here, which is kind of odd, but it took me at least 5 minutes to just get him to hold his rifle. The rifle's really gummy. His fingers are gummy, which is great, but it's just really hard to get him to hold that with 2 hands. But he does look pretty darn cool. There is no denying that. Let's try and see what he looks like with his helmet on. And here's Boba Fett holding his blaster with his helmet on. Looks pretty darn cool. I know I can swivel his ankle a little bit better there, but I just, you know, when you can slap him in a pose like this, you feel really good. So it looks pretty darn cool. Putting him looking down the sights, oh, my dog, I'm sure it's possible, but it's definitely gonna be tricky. But isn't this an amazing looking figure? Look at that, absolutely sweet. Rock on, Hasbro, with your 3.75 epicness. Okay, today, instead of showing some flight stand poses, I'm just going to show just how awesome he looks just holding them. But this, because you know what's different is, yeah, the jetpack doesn't have holes in it, so you can't use those Boba Fett flame accessories on this version, which is a bummer. I'm pretty sure you could use his flaming, did he have a flamethrower on the Vintage Collection one? All I see right here is my Black Series one, but man, look at that. There's no denying that looks super cool, doesn't it? Of course, let's just tilt his head a few different ways. But yeah, beautiful. The paint job on it looks fantastic. As I was saying, I'm shocked. You know, if this was Black Series, it definitely would have charged us. This almost looks like, yeah, it's just going to go to shreds, man. What a bummer. Let me know in the comments below if there's a way around that. As you can see, the blaster does fit perfectly in his holster. You can see the wires coming around and connecting up to his arm piece. It does look like it may disconnect right there. You can see, let's just go ahead and lift this Boba right here. You can see how gummy this gun is and how hard it is to put it in his hand. But man, the paint job on this is fantastic. We might as well pull out the Morak Boba Fett while I'm here. You can see the chest armor. It looks almost the same, except this side looks like there's more of a crack, or unless that's a hair on it. You can see the belt. Let's pop down his leg, and legs are completely different. So this one, they look more like Ahsoka Tano's, and these are just more clean looking. I honestly prefer this version when it comes to the waist down. The boots are also a different color. You got brown versus gray. And both of them, the feet look really cool, that's for sure. But they are different feet too, which is shocking. So yeah, they went all out on this one, that's for sure. Now the jetpack, as I was saying earlier, yeah, the older one comes with holes in it because there is flame effects on this version, and the soft goods just look a little bit better. I do love this shredded look though. I think that looks really cool. And on here, it's like, look, it's like an elastic band. See that? It does spin around, so you can fix and tailor that the way you like. As you saw earlier, the blaster, it does fit in his holster, and you can see there's some beautiful paintwork on there. And the tip, yeah, it's just the same. The rifle, there's some beautiful paintwork on the rifle. And the gauntlet, again, more beautiful paintwork. And of course, the Mandalorian symbol looks sweet too. But yeah, overall, it is a beautiful figure. I'm really glad I can add this to the collection. The helmet, the visor doesn't move up and down, but it is nice and gummy, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. And the helmet just slides on and off. It's not a peg this time, which I do appreciate that also. And you can see that face mold of Tamora Morrison. Wow, what a good job. Is it the exact same as the other head? It looks like it is, except this one you can see a scar on his head. Either that or I just did that with the paint on mine. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have a scar on yours. But man, the paint job on this guy is great. See how the gun just pops out so easy? It's like once you put it in this hand and then you try to hold it with his other hand, it just pops off. But yeah, the head looks beautiful. He looks down extremely well. Let me zoom in on here for you guys. He looks up fantastic too. It does tilt back and forth. I'm sure you can do head swaps because this one is on the little peg in there. The scarf around his neck looks like it's glued on there pretty good. His arm pops up extremely high. You can see it's on a nice ball joint in there. Rotates around, of course. There is a upper swivel cut, you can see. Well, it looks like there's an upper swivel cut. Let me see if I can do it on this side. No, it isn't a swivel. It just looks like it's part of the mold. His elbow pops up about this high. The hinges are just fantastic for 3.75. They do pop up and down. Now, this side is actually hindered, which is probably why they didn't do the inward hinge, which I think he would have benefited from. Wouldn't have made his rifle pop out every time you try to pose it. There is actually a lot of tilt in the waist there, which is good. It looks like it's on a ball, and the belt does slide up and down. Yeah, I think I pointed that out earlier. The belts are different. You can see the deluxe version, I think it's the Tatooine version, has some bullets on his belt, and this one just has some pouches. The jetpack, I'm curious to know if this jetpack will fit in this version, so that way you can actually add flames and stuff. And yeah, it does perfectly. How different are they? This is the new one, by the way. You can see, yeah, on the deluxe version, there is more paint. And that's probably why they got us for that extra price tag. Let's go ahead and put this back on, so that way we don't forget. Hips-wise, he's got the brand new hips, which I absolutely love. Those are just fantastic. Kicks up super high. I mean, look at that. And that's with the swivel in there. But you're going to be able to get this guy in some super, super dynamic poses. Upper swivel cut, single jointed knee that only goes up about that high, but you really don't need it to go much higher now, do we? The knee pads look absolutely sweet. And they're on his shin, so if you wanted him to shoot missiles, they will be actually coming out of those. The feet are on, and look at that hinge, is just insane with some beautiful rockers on there. Now, let's do some height comparisons with some other characters, and we will go from there. You can already see, yeah, there's pieces of them just falling all over the place, but let's zoom up a little bit here. There we go, that should do it. So almost the same height. I just have this guy's legs open a little bit more. Who do I have nearby here? Let's go ahead and move him out of the way so I don't mix these guys up. But here he is next to an ARC Trooper, which I know they have nothing to do with each other. But he's close by. And another one, because I have them close by, we're going to go ahead and put them up to the new Death Watch Mandalorian. I think that's the Death Watch, or is that the Airborne one? I'm not sure. I do, in fact, that reminds me. Yeah, I have the Airborne one to review, but it feels like I'm doing the same figure over and over. Now, I don't remember if they ever meet in the show. I don't think they do, but here is Ahsoka next to Boba Fett. Let's go ahead and move this guy out of the way. I think this is the original Beskar Mando, but there he is next to Beskar Mando. I really need to clean up my display, because I'm going to have to dig up a whole bunch of figures. But here he is next to Bo-Katan. As you can see, yeah, the height is, I think, is pretty accurate to my imagination. I'd have to rewatch the show to see more, but I really appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you could kindly throw a thumbs up on here, it would definitely help. Check out one of these videos up on the screen, and I will see you guys in the next video.